Adapted from archaic translation by W.H.D. Rouse. Jataka number 507. Maha-palobhana-jataka. From Brahma's heaven, etc. This story the master told while living in Jetavana monastery, about the defilement of the sanctified. The circumstances have already been given. Here again said the master, women cause defilement even in sanctified souls, and then told this story of the past. Once upon a time in Benares, here the story of the past is to be expanded as in the Kula Palavana birth. Now once again the great being came down from Brahma's world as the king of Kasi's son, and his name was Prince Anithiganda, the woman-hater. In the hands of a woman he would not be. They must need to dress as men to give him the breast. He lived in a chamber of meditation, and never a woman he saw. To explain this, the master repeated 4 stanzas. From Brahma's upper heaven an archangel came down, and here upon this earth. As a king's son whose every wish was law, he had his birth. To Brahma's heaven no deed of lust, no mention, ever came. So born into this world, the prince now disliked its very name. Within the palace he had made a chamber all his own, where deep in meditation plunged he passed his days alone. The king, grown anxious for his son, mourns to know him there. One only son I have, and he for pleasures will not care. The 5th stanza describes the king's crying. Oh, who can tell me what to do? Oh, is there no clever means? Who'll teach him joys of love to crave, and who can him entice? The next stanza and half a stanza are those of perfect wisdom. A girl there was, of graceful shape, of fair and lovely skin. She knew a world of pretty songs, and well could dance and spin. This girl looked for his majesty, and thus she did begin. The other line is spoken by the young girl. I will entice him, if you will in marriage grant him me. The king made answer to the maid, and thus said he. Do but succeed in tempting him, your husband he shall be. The king now gave orders that all opportunity should be afforded her, and sent her to attend upon the prince. In the morning, taking her lute she went and stood just without the prince's sleeping chamber, and touching the lute with her fingertips tried to tempt him by singing in a sweet voice. To explain this, the master said. The girl went within the house, and where she stood apart, sang songs sweet and long, to pierce a lover's heart. There as the girl stood and sang, the prince, who heard the sound, straight fell in fancy, and he asked the servants waiting round, what is that sound of melody that comes to me so clear, piercing the heart with thoughts of love, delightful to my ear? A maid, your highness, fair to see, of flirtation infinite. Would you enjoy the sweets of love, yield to this delight. Ho, here, nearer let her come, and let her sing yet more. Here let her sing before my face within my chamber door. Single quote dot. She who had sung without the wall stood in the chamber there. She caught him, as an elephant is caught in woodland snare. He felt the joy of love, and lo! See jealousy full grown. No other man shall love. Cries he, but I will love alone. No other man, but I alone. He cries. And then away. Seizes a sword, and runs berserk all other men to kill. The people shouting in alarm all to the palace fly. Your son is killing everyone all unprovoked. They cry. Him did the warrior king arrest, and banish from his face. Within the boundaries of my realm you shall not find a place. He took his wife and travelled on till by the sea he stood. There built a hut of leaves, and lived on collecting food from the wood. A holy hermit flying came over the ocean high. entered the hut what time the meal was standing ready by. The woman tempted him. Now see how foul a thing was done. He fell from chastity, and all his magic power was gone. The evening came. The prince returns, and from his collection brings, hung to his pole a plentiful store of roots and wild wood things. The hermit sees the prince approach. Down to the shore goes he, thinking to travel through the air, but sinks into the sea. But when the prince saw the sage down sinking in the sea, pity sprang up within him, and these verses then said he. Here not sailing on the sea, by magic power you came. But now you sink. An evil wife has brought you to this shame. Seducing traitresses, they tempt the holiest to his fall. Down, down they sink. Who women know should flee far from all. Soft speaking, hard to satisfy, as rivers hard to fill. Down, down they sink. Who women know should flee far from him still. And whomsoever they may serve for gold or for desire, they burn him up, as fuel burns in a blazing fire. The hermit heard the prince's word. He disliked the so self-loving world, turned to his former path, and rose up in the air again. No sooner had the prince saw how in the air he rose, he grieved and with a purpose firm the holy life he chose. Then, turned religious, wholly subdued his lust and hot desire. And passion subdued, to Brahma's world from now on he did aspire. This discourse ended, the master said, Thus, brethren, for woman's sake even sanctified souls do sin. Then he explained the truths, achieved sainthood. After which he identified the birth, saying, At that time I myself was Prince Anithiganda.